Well, guess this is gonna be a double-parter. Where have I seen those before? But, I guess I forgot about some stuff, as well as thought of some new stuff to, converse about the dissolution of eternity. One particular thing I forgot, power-ups, specifically one, the gravity belt. Now, I don't know about you, but the idea of, well, basically, zero G's nice, but when it comes to limiting your players, in a sense, uh, one of the, I guess, more devious things to do would be limiting how long you have it, because unlike a zero G environment, it's limited, you know. Uh, for instance, imagine a sort of Turok-esque platforming puzzle, except you need the gravity belt, and it will respawn, but if you don't get across that thing, it's you're falling. You know, combine that with the potentiality of another thing, which I will talk about in a minute. It can be very, very bad, and everybody knows that Doom and Quake modders are sadists, and map players are a bit of masochists. So why not? But you know, which I'll admit, really, when it comes to, I mean, you got the shield, and I mean, there's the revenge sphere, but that's really only useful for multiplayer. Still would like to see it. A power up you probably don't even know about. I probably don't know about a lot of power ups, but in terms of that, but toot my own better. But anyways, essentially, I think it'd be nice. And I guess a great segue would be the other thing, the sort of not necessarily power ups, but stuff like, for instance, in Dissolution of Eternity, there's this sort of ethereal force that can batter around a player. Now, probably, in my opinion, the simplest and best way to exemplify exactly what this can do for modding maps is the Dissolution of Eternity's hard mode setting. It's simple. It's probably the simplest of the entirety of the hard mode difficulty settings, in the entirety of Quake, which if you know how the difficulties are chosen, you'll understand. It's a simple, it's a walk across the lava, a straight pipe. What could be bad? Except for the fact that you can't get across, really, because there's a freaking, invisible force pushing you around. Now, of course, it is a bit bad. It's not the best. But when it comes to, modders, you guys can do it, right? You can make great use of it. But, in a sense, when it comes to everything, Quake, it's nice and all, but, when you have an engine that can do stuff like that, yet, you just don't do it. It's like, why even, it could be more impressive, as well as making, because, Doom, for instance, the game that inevitably gets, brought up, it's nice and all, but, Quake's sort of advantage is its engine. It can do more, so why not do more, and, of which, I mean, there are other things, there are the various traps as well that can be used in level design, which I really like to see more of, but, it's like, Quake, it has this stuff, and to be honest with you, a lot of flack goes to the original add-ons, but when it comes to what they added, I think they added quite a bit that modders have just not used. That could be due to licensing issues, with the whole... Some companies not exactly being that open to modding, but in my opinion, letting stuff such as that, stuff like, for instance, the statue system. In the Roman levels, they got the living statues. Well, you could use that for legit statues, of other things, and can be used for stuff that you usually couldn't do otherwise. And I think modders really just don't utilize it to the fullest of its potential. I don't think the game developers themselves did either. But, it's like, I've seen great mods for Quake, but in my opinion, there are things that were in the Quake engine that, we saw in, about an official content that we've just never seen replicated in that. And I'll talk about Scourge of Armagon in another video, and the stuff that I think that is great about that and all that is underappreciated. But in my opinion, Dissolution of Eternity, it gave more than what most people give it credit for. And I think more of its features should definitely be implemented due to the potentiality of it, the potential they have for various encounters, environments, especially the enemies, seeing as a... Quake, it has more themes than Doom did. Doom, you get just demons, science fiction, stuff like that. But Quake, it's dark fantasy, there's the demonic stuff, there's the Lovecraftian stuff. And, with the power-ups, the enemies, level designs, roster, thematic themes, it does an admirable job, but I think it doesn't do enough. And I think the Dissolution of Eternity definitely helped, but you really don't see any of the stuff that Dissolution of Eternity did being used in modding, which I think is a shame. For instance, the wizard, I forgot to mention the sort of grand wizard boss. So technically there's like, you got Shub-Niggurath, big demon guy, Armagon, the dragon, and a big wizard. So 5 bosses. But nobody uses any of the other bosses, so it's like, realistically, when it comes to the community, there are only 2 bosses, and it's like, I think it would be much better if the community utilized, in this video specifically, Dissolution of Eternity, which I think thematically is the better of the 2, though mechanically it didn't add as much as I think it could have. And I do think Scourge of Armagon, the weapons, Mjolnir, man. The dragon's nice, but you took Quake's hammer and they gave us it back and nobody uses it. It's like, come on, guys. Where's my dragons? Where's my magic hammer? I think I think it would be nice to do that. I mean, let's be honest with you. The dark fantasy stuff, in my opinion, of Quake is very nice. And while I would love to see stuff like Barons of Hell and stuff, from Doom and Quake, I think Scourge of Armagon and Dissolution of Eternity, they're not as appreciated for the stuff that was given and the stuff that said things can do, which I think is a shame. At this point, I'm just rambling on at this point. I guess leave your opinions of such things in the comments if anybody watches this, Have a nice day, I guess.